All right, so OpenAI had their big Dev Day thing, right?
Yeah.
And I know last year was all about that GPT store launch, fireworks, the whole shebang.
Yeah, a lot of hype.
This year felt different, much more, I don't know.
Subdued.
Yeah, subdued, under the hood. Like they were getting into the nitty-gritty for the developers.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? That's actually a good thing.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, new products are exciting and all, but this shift in focus, it tells me they're playing the long game.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What makes you say that?
Well, think of it like this. They're not just adding bells and whistles. They're reinforcing the foundation, making the whole AI ecosystem stronger, more accessible, you know?
So it's less about the wow factor this year and more about building something that lasts.
Exactly. It's about making sure that AI isn't just a passing fad. It's here to stay, and it needs a solid foundation to build upon.
Okay, so walk me through some of the highlights then. What exactly did they focus on?
Well, one of the big announcements was this thing called prompt caching.
Prompt caching.
Yeah, I know it sounds kind of technical.
A little bit, yeah.
But basically, it's a way for developers to save money by reusing certain prompts.
Okay, so how does that actually work in practice? I mean, can you give me a real-world example?
Sure, imagine you're building a chatbot for customer service, right? And you're using an AI model to generate responses. Now you're going to have a lot of customers asking similar questions like, what are your store hours? Or how do I reset my password? With prompt caching, instead of having the AI generate a brand new response every single time, you can basically save the prompt and its corresponding response and just reuse it whenever that question comes up again.
Ah, so it's like having a pre-written response ready to go, but instead of a human writing it, it's the AI.
Exactly. And that can save developers a ton of money because these AI models, as powerful as they are, they can be quite expensive to run, especially at scale.
And OpenAI is all about driving down those costs, right?
Absolutely. In fact, they said they've managed to make AI almost 1,000 times cheaper in just 2 years.
Wow, 1,000 times. That's insane.
Right. It really goes to show you how quickly this field is moving.
I mean, that kind of cost reduction has to be a game changer for smaller companies and developers, right?
Oh, absolutely. It levels the playing field. A few years ago, only giant tech companies could really afford to play with this technology. But now, imagine a small business owner building their own custom AI chatbot without breaking the bank. Or a student developer creating the next big AI-powered app right from their dorm room. That's the potential here.
That's what I'm talking about, real-world impact. So cheaper AI, check. What else did they focus on?
Well, they also made some incredible strides with GPT-4o.
That's their latest and greatest, right?
Exactly. Specifically, they added something called vision fine-tuning.
Vision fine-tuning.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, you've officially piqued my interest. What's that all about?
Basically, it's like teaching AI to truly see and understand images, not just process them as data.
Okay, I need an example. Give me something concrete.
Sure. Imagine you're using a navigation app, right? With vision fine-tuning, the app could actually see things like construction detours or road closures that might not be reflected in real-time traffic data.
No way. So instead of just relying on pre-programmed maps and sensors, the app can actually interpret what it's seeing in real time.
Exactly. And that means more accurate directions, fewer wrong turns, and a generally smoother navigation experience.
That's wild. And I'm guessing the applications go way beyond just navigation.
Oh, absolutely. The possibilities are pretty much endless when you think about it. This could revolutionize everything from medical diagnoses to self-driving cars to how we interact with the world around us.
Okay, so we've got cheaper AI, we've got AI that can actually see and understand images. What else did they unveil at this Under the Hood Dev Day?
Well, they also introduced this new real-time API.
Okay, before you even explain it, what's an API? I feel like that's one of those tech terms that gets thrown around a lot.
You're right. It can be a bit of a head-scratcher. It stands for Application Programming Interface.
Okay.
But basically, you can think of it like a messenger that allows different software applications to talk to each other.
Got it. So it's like a translator that helps different pieces of software understand each other.
Exactly. So this new real-time API is all about making our interactions with AI smoother and more natural.
So less like typing a question into a search engine and waiting for a response,
Yeah.
and more like having a conversation with a real live person.
Exactly. Remember that travel planning app OpenAI demoed last year?
I think so, yeah.
Imagine using that with this real-time API. You could be talking to the app, planning your itinerary, changing your mind mid-sentence, and the AI would keep up without missing a beat.
No more of that awkward lag or waiting for the AI to catch up. That would be amazing.
Exactly. And think about the implications beyond travel planning. Customer service calls could be handled by AI that can actually understand your frustration and respond empathetically. Educational software could adapt to a student's learning style in real time. The possibilities for seamless AI interaction are pretty mind-blowing.
Okay, I'm hooked. This is really interesting stuff. What else did OpenAI have up their sleeve at this Dev Day?
Well, they also talked about something called model distillation, which sounds incredibly complex, but is actually a fascinating idea.
Okay, I'm all ears. Break it down for me.
Okay, so imagine you've got like a master chef, right?
Okay.
And they're showing a culinary student their signature dish. The student might not have the fancy kitchen, years of experience,
Right.
but they can still pick up the essence, the core techniques, and make something incredible.
Okay, I'm following you. So model distillation is like that recipe, but for AI.
Bingo. It's about letting smaller AI models learn from the big leagues, like GPT-4o.
So instead of needing a whole server farm to run advanced AI,
Yeah.
you could do it on a decent laptop.
Exactly. Think about say, a rural clinic.
Okay.
They could use model distillation for a powerful diagnostic tool.
Without needing a massive IT budget.
Exactly. That's the power of this. It's about democratizing access to AI.
Yeah. Wow, that's a really powerful example. It feels like with everything we've talked about from this Dev Day, the cost savings, the vision capabilities, now this, it's all about making AI more accessible, more affordable, and potentially more impactful.
You got it. And it signals a real shift for OpenAI, don't you think?
How so?
Last year, remember, it was all about the GPT store, big product launches, the hype was real.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
This year feels different, more deliberate almost.
Like they're saying, okay, we've shown you what's possible, now let's make it sustainable.
Exactly. The field's getting more competitive, and there's that growing awareness of the resources these models need.
Yeah, I was reading an article just the other day about the environmental impact of all this.
Oh, absolutely. It's energy intensive.
Big time.
So, with prompt caching, model distillation, they're acknowledging that, showing a commitment to responsible AI.
So not just cool tech, but responsible tech.
Precisely. It's like they're saying, look, we're not just throwing this powerful technology out into the world without considering the consequences. We're thinking about the long-term impact, the ethical implications, and we're building tools that empower developers to do the same.
I like that.
Okay.
Okay, so wrapping up this Dev Day deep dive, it sounds like while it might have seemed quiet from the outside,
Yeah.
the implications are anything but.
100%. This wasn't about making headlines, it was about making progress, the kind that empowers developers, pushes those boundaries.
And ultimately, maybe even changes the world.
Absolutely, and that's definitely something worth paying attention to.
For sure. So for anyone who might have initially dismissed this Dev Day as being too technical, or maybe not as exciting as last year's GPT store launch,
Yeah, I get it. It can seem that way.
I hope this conversation has given you a new perspective.
Me too. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, but sometimes the most impactful changes, they're not the flashiest,
Totally. It's like the old saying, slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly. These advancements in efficiency, accessibility, responsible development, those have ripple effects.
And those ripples, they're going to reach all of us eventually, whether we're tech savvy or just living our lives.
Exactly. And that's what makes this so fascinating to me. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we build it, who has access to it, and how we ensure that it's used for good.
When we started this deep dive, I thought we'd be talking about the next big AI product launch or some mind-blowing new capability. But honestly, I think what we've uncovered here is even more significant.
I agree. This isn't about the hype. It's about the real-world impact. And that's a much more compelling story, don't you think?
Absolutely. So for anyone listening who might have brushed this Dev Day off as being, I don't know, a bit boring,
Yeah.
hopefully we've shown you just how significant these developments really are.
I couldn't agree more. This wasn't about making headlines. It was about making progress. The kind of progress that empowers developers, pushes the boundaries of what's possible, and ultimately has the potential to change the world as we know it.
And with that in mind, It's like they're saying, hey, we've laid the groundwork, made these powerful tools even better.
Hmm.
Now go out there and build the future.
Exactly. And who knows what people will come up with, you know? That's
Right.
what's so exciting. The potential here is just mind-blowing.
It really is. I mean, we always talk about those big what-if questions with AI, but it feels like those what-ifs are becoming what-nows more and more every day.
Totally. And that's what I think OpenAI is trying to get at with this Dev Day. You know, it's not just about the tech itself. It's about what we can do with it, the problems we can solve, the opportunities we can create.
Exactly. So for anyone listening who might have tuned out when this Dev Day seemed a little, I don't know, under the hood at first glance,
Yeah.
I hope this deep dive has given you a new appreciation for just how significant this stuff really is. It might not be as flashy as a big product launch, but trust me, these changes are going to have a ripple effect.
Absolutely. And those ripples are going to be felt far and wide. This is about more than just lines of code. It's about the future of, well, pretty much everything. And that's something worth getting excited about, wouldn't you say?
100%. All right, so to wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
OpenAI has essentially given us the keys to the kingdom, right? These incredible AI tools are becoming more powerful, more accessible, and more readily available every single day. So the real question is, what are you going to build? What problem are you going to solve? What opportunity are you going to seize? Because the possibilities, they really are limitless. And that's something to think about.